let's pretend you're facing a customer, Spencer, that does unfortunately not have such a great innovative team around trying to push innovation into the company. How have you experienced, good experience in tackling this? What would be a tip to make a sale even though you don't have an innovation team at your side?
And now this is specific to the enterprise, to large cap businesses.
Yeah.
I would find a specific division. So a lot of times you can't eat the elephant in one bite, right? And so for us, we work with big 3 automotive companies in the United States, and that's become one of our hallmark kind of customers, although we can't talk about all their logos publicly. And the way that we entered a big 3 auto, everyone says it's so hard to sell to that company. It's a decade of whining and dining, which is something I never do. But they had a specific division that was focused on developing next generation EV vehicles. And that team had a separate line directly to the CEO. They were tasked to sort of disrupt the core business in a way, and had a lot of agency over their own tools. And so a lot of times what you'll find in these large organizations is they might have a sort of blanket system that is the general backbone ERP across the organization. It kind of checks a lot of boxes. Nobody's in love with it. And then there's really deep pockets of pain in specific areas. And so finding who's the champion, who's willing to put their hand up in the air and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this. And would be a huge unlock for me if I could figure out a way to solve it. And then you can get into a business line that's maybe 1,000 people instead of trying to sell initially to 100,000 person org. And then in that way, you can think of large corporates sometimes as a holding company for 50 smaller business units. And at that point, when you break it down, you can actually get in at one of those entry points. And then once you're actually working with the company and you're already an approved vendor, you're on PO, you've done InfoSec, people trust you, you have internal case studies, that's way more powerful than, hey, we did something for a different company you don't know anything about. Then you can actually start to expand. And that they call that land and expand. That's the classic term in Silicon Valley. And I do think that still works really well.